In this video, I want to tell you why I chose to disappoint my mother so that I could live the life that I wanted to live. I think this is an important topic, guys, because I know when I first started in business, we always want the validation of the people that we love the most, okay? And even till this day, my mom passed 8 years ago, but even till this, well, obviously up until she passed, I never got full validation from her. But let me explain why you don't need validation from anyone. And number two, how those people aren't, back then, my perception was that they're being really negative and really down on my ideas. So I had an internal struggle my whole life. My mom grew up in a military and a government family. So my grandfather was in the military and my grandmother worked in the government. Two very secure jobs. Now, going off to war isn't so much secure, but being in the military is a very secure job. And of course, working in the government is a very secure job. And then on the other coin was my father. My father was an amazing entrepreneur who provided very, very well to our family. So thank you, Dad, very much for that. And the challenge was this: because my dad was an amazing entrepreneur and he was out selling a lot of the time, I didn't see him as much as I would have liked to. And so therefore we had an okay relationship, nothing bad about it, but I had a very, very close relationship with my mom because my dad was the entrepreneur, which afforded my mom to be able to stay home and take care of my sister Tracy and I. And because my mom was home all the time, I developed a very strong bond with her, as did my sister. She was our confidant, she was our protector, she was our best friend, all that kind of stuff. So naturally, because I had such an amazing relationship with my mother, I wanted to appease to her. I wanted to make her happy. I wanted her to validate everything that I was doing. And so in that internal struggle, I remember distinctly after high school being very conflicted because I said, Mom, I'm not quite sure what I want to do with my life. I want to take some time off. And my mom was very opinionated. She's like, no way, fucker. You are going to school because only bums take time off from school. And I was like, wow, that was pretty harsh. So she said, and when you were a kid, you used to play with Lego and Meccano sets all the time. So you're going into engineering. Okay. So I went to Carleton University in Ottawa, Canada. And I was in the back of calculus class trying to learn the Fourier and Power series. And in that time frame, I was reading muscle magazines. And so needless to say, my first year in university, I flunked out completely. And my mom was really pissed off. And I said, see, Mom, I just don't know what I want to do with my life. Can I please take some time off? She said, wow, you've done it to yourself. No other university in this goddamn world's ever going to accept you. You flunked, you're Fs, you're gone. No university will ever accept you again. Well, something tragic happened at Concordia University in Montreal. The first mass shooting that I can remember of in Canada. Some lunatic, and it's sad, but I would just want to preface this with you. Some lunatic went on campus and shot like 12 women. And as such, the amount of people that were applying to that university plummeted to zero. So I said, Mom, I think I found a university that will probably accept me. So I decided to go into exercise physiology with a specialization in cardiac rehab. And even then, it was something that was more exciting to me because obviously I love learning about the human body with my fitness background. And I wanted to go into cardiac rehab because of my familial genetics on my dad and my mom's side. Many people died young of heart attacks and all that kind of stuff. But even then, I think I had convinced myself like that's a good path to do. But at the same time, I think deep inside my soul, I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur like my father. So needless to say, I went to school. I got a job doing cardiac stress testing at a hospital in Ottawa called the Montfort Hospital. And within 3 months of being there, I was fucking miserable, like absolutely miserable. Like I don't want to do this. And eventually I decided that my life is my life, not my mother's life. And I actually quit my job and started my entrepreneurial journey of what I'm still doing today. And it took me 2 years to tell my mother that I'd actually quit my job. And even when I did tell her, she's like, oh, you're so irresponsible. You've got your daughter coming. You're not making any money. You need to get a job. Stop your daydreaming. Stop being an idiot. All that kind of stuff. And so forth, you know? So I was like, oh. Fast forward. And here's what I want you to understand is I came to realize that it wasn't my mom poo-pooing my ideas or being negative or quite frankly, just being bitchy. It was her hardwiring. She grew up to be safe, secure, get a good job. So she was just trying to protect me. But ultimately, I decided to temporarily disappoint my mother and go on my own path. So I told her I'd quit my job. She was uber pissed off at me. And thankfully, it all worked out. But here's how I want you to understand her hardwiring was so deep-rooted in her soul. So my mom died of lung cancer in February 25th, 8 years ago. And about 6 months before she passed, we knew it was terminal. She was told she had stage 4 lung cancer and it was spreading to other parts of her body. It was in her spine and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, but you don't sit there on the telephone and talk about your mortality. So we were just having a long conversation about life and where I'm at. And she started to giggle. And I was like, what, Mom? She's like, I have to tell you something. Now, at this point, we had about 250 employees around the world. Our company was doing very well. It still continues to do well today, and so forth. But we're making millions and millions and millions of dollars. My mom's giggling. I said, "What, Mom?" She goes, "This is what I have to tell you. I just wish you had a good, stable job." And I was like, "Oh my God! Guess what, Mom? There are 250 other people in my team that work for me, and the last person to lose their job, even if we go downhill, will be me." And she was giggling because she had seen the success that I had provided to myself and to my family. But it goes to show you that hardwiring is very hard to break. So the moral of this story, guys, is you need to surround yourself with people that believe in you. So when I started to realize that no matter what the idea was, my mom was going to say it was not a good idea because it was too risky. Again, she was just trying to protect me, but I took it as being very negative and very nasty. So I started to realize that no matter what the idea was, I wasn't going to share those ideas with my mom, and I'd probably share them more with my father because my father was an amazing entrepreneur, and he's still an entrepreneur today. He's 81. And he still goes door to door selling because he loves doing that kind of stuff, even though he's quite wealthy right now because of the business. And honestly, in my humble opinion, you can't get very wealthy unless you have an upper echelon job or you're a business owner. So my dad is quite wealthy right now. He's very secure with himself and so forth. I'm talking today. And so I started to share a little bit more of my ideas with my dad. But the challenge there was he didn't know anything about the internet. He knew a lot about conventional advertising, like telephone directories and print ads and billboard ads and all that kind of stuff. But get him to understand the internet, it was like way over his head. So the point I want to make, folks, is it's your life. You do what you want to do. And guess what? You may not be able to share your ideas with the people that you love the most because they're just not thinking like you do. The key to your success is surrounding yourself with people who are already living the lifestyle that you want to live. Take advice from people who are already living the lifestyle that you want to live today. And those are the people that you surround yourself with who will lift you up, believe in your dreams. And believe me, when you're surrounded with a collective 5 to 10 people that think like you do, to build momentum is so much easier. To be excited is so much easier. To move forward fast is so much easier. So I hope this little story invigorates you, excites you, pushes you to do what you want to do in your life because you are the creator. You are the master. This is your domain. This is your life. Go and create your canvas now. So folks, if you like these videos, just hit the like button, hit the bell notification button, subscribe to all of them. Please leave me a comment on this video because it helps with the algorithm, and I'll see you on the next one. And just remember, you may not get the validation from people you'll love the most, but there's tons of people out there who think just like you.